Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is our take. We are your hosts. My name's Ocean.
I'm Taylor.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring to you guys our review of the first, I think it's the first major movie release of the year, right? I think it's produced by Universal, Blumhouse, and some new studio that I didn't recognize when they show their like little clip art that
Atomic Monster.
Yeah, Atomic Monster. I hadn't seen it, but the movie is M3GAN, ladies and gentlemen. M3GAN. What does M3GAN stand for again?
It's some long,
yeah, I don't
weird,
remember either.
Generic technological name.
Yeah, but if you guys remember, we did a trailer reaction to the trailer that came out for this movie back in like October or so, and the movie came out on January 6th, and Taylor watched it pretty quickly, but I didn't have a chance to transitioning back to work and stuff. So just finally got to watch it today, and we're gonna give you guys our thoughts. And this one is gonna be interesting, I think, because this movie was interesting. If you guys watched the trailer, yeah. All right, let's get into it. Traditional fashion. Spoiler free score, spoilers. Start off with spoiler free. Taylor, did you enjoy this movie?
Yeah,
I
actually liked it.
Yeah, that's good. Would you be surprised to know that I got a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes?
That would be very surprising.
Yeah. The critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is 95%. The audience score I think is like 75%. So I was surprised too, and it's kind of what was like the last straw for me to go watch it. Kristen had showed me like, oh look, it got good reviews. It's like, all right, we'll go watch it. I'm surprised that I got her to come with me.
It is,
and I will say that we both were able to sit through like 98% of the movie. There might have been a few times where she covered her eyes or I covered mine, but yeah, I enjoyed the movie too. I definitely do have some issues with it, and there's just some things that stuck out at me while watching it, but I did enjoy it, and it's I don't know that it's all like super original, but I think it could open the door for some new stuff to come to the screen, So I enjoyed it, and I think it's I don't know. Would you say this is a see in the theater movie, or would you say this is a wait till streaming platform movie?
I think this one in particular is one of those where you can go either way.
Yeah,
like it's not a bad thing to watch in the theaters, but
yeah, I don't regret seeing it.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I don't regret seeing it in the theaters, but I think that if I had waited till it came out on a streaming platform, I probably wouldn't have been like, oh, I wish I would have saw this in the theater. Yeah. So if you guys have time and nothing else to do, there's not really a whole lot of other stuff in the theaters right now either. So if you have the time and you're looking to go to the movie theater, I'd say this is worth it. It is rated PG-13, which we'll talk about a little bit, I think, but just to give you guys an idea of what you're walking into. So, what would you score this movie, Taylor?
I think I would give this movie like a 7.
That's so interesting. We've been on like this same wavelength lately, man. Like a lot of our reviews lately, we've had like the same exact scores for stuff. Because I feel like it's a 7 too. Like I feel like it was good. Like there are definitely some good things going for it, but there are definitely some glaring issues, and it could have been better. So we'll dive into spoilers to talk about what those things are and give you guys a better idea of what happened. Now, if you haven't seen this movie yet, I'll be honest. If you watch the trailer, you pretty much have the entire concept of the movie in the trailer. So, like, you could probably listen to our spoilers and still watch the movie and still enjoy it a little bit. But yeah, as always, this is spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. So if you don't want to know before you see the movie, go watch the movie, come back, finish out the video with us. But this is your official
spoiler alert.
All right. So, we'll start with what I was saying in the spoiler-free section about the rating. It was rated PG-13, and there definitely are some pretty graphic things, like she rips a kid's ear off,
Yeah.
which was pretty nuts.
Yeah.
But this is one of those movies that I think could have benefited from being rated R. You know, like I feel like the fear factor or the scare factor, because it was limited to what you could put at a PG-13 level, wasn't quite what I was expecting. And I think it could have benefited from having an R rating so that they had more things they could do.
More leeway.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like
For sure.
there's obviously death and like scary stuff. There's jump scares. You know, there's a lot of insinuation, but there's not a whole lot that you actually see. Like she stabs a guy through the chest, but all you see is like the very tip of the blade come out from the front when she stabs him in the back, and some blood. Then when she rips a kid's ear off, that was pretty gnarly. But like, yeah, I think it could have benefited from being rated R. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely agree. I I don't really want to go too much into it. I actually have a lot of stuff that's connected to this.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's continue with some of your other problems with the movie.
Oh, okay. All right. With the rating, you mean? Like you have stuff that's connected to the rating?
Yeah, to this
okay.
topic that we were talking about.
Okay.
But I do agree though.
Yeah.
It would have benefited from being an R-rated movie.
Okay. There's a few other things that kind of like bugged me a little bit. Because I'm the kind of person that when I look at like a machine, I like to like think about how it works and like how it's able to do the things it does.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like the technology that was in this robot, M3GAN, was ridiculous. Like she had this biopic eye that could like tell what your feelings were, and then like it was like a HUD, and then she's made out of titanium, and she's super strong and super durable.
Yep.
Right? Like she literally takes a bush. It's a bush trimmer, one of those things that has like the teeth that go like
the
this.
saw blade things.
Like she takes that to the face and is like it just cuts out the skin a little bit, which I get it. Titanium is a super strong metal, but the biggest problem I have is they told us what the budget was for this like within the movie. They told us how much they spent on making M3GAN. She said that they spent $100,000 of the company's money on this. And I just don't see how that's even remotely possible. Knowing how much like titanium costs, how much like just robots go for it in general,
Yeah.
I don't see how that's even remotely possible that you only spent $100,000 and ended up with this insane prototype that is able to like catch people's arms and like just rip a freaking the knife off of the freaking whatchamacallit, this thing, what's that cutter, the cutter thing, the paper cutter,
the paper cutter.
yeah
thing.
like it's ridiculous to me that and so it bothered me because there were a lot of situations where her strength and her durability allowed for the story to progress, but in my head I was like, I just don't see how that's possible, especially if you look at I have a picture, like if you look at this, like if you look at like the shoulder joints, the elbow joints, they're not that impressive and they're not that like robust. You know what I mean? Like for her to be able to grab somebody's arm and just hold it and or choke somebody out, like I don't know. I have a hard time believing that there's enough technology and just things in there to be able to do the things that she was actually physically doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that took away from some of the scenes for me. What I enjoyed though was the mental aspect of it all. I enjoyed the underlying like questions that bringing a sentient object like this to life poses, right? That the main character, or one of the main characters, actually I don't think I have a picture of her. Shoot. The aunt who takes over custody of Katie right after an unfortunate event causes her parents to die.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Was that scene funny to you?
Was it funny?
Yeah, because they're like having the argument. He's like,
Oh.
"Look, I thought it had 4-wheel drive. It looked like it had 4-wheel drive." Like, come on,
that
dude.
part was funny because she was like, "Dude, come on, really? Like, what?"
It's just a car, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, so she takes over custody, and she's an adult that doesn't have any kids of her own, doesn't have a family. She's devoted to her work life and whatnot, so that she's not equipped to care for Katie. And M3GAN is a product of her work, and she makes it with the intention of trying to help Katie, right? Like that was like the final motivation for her to get it built. Which brings up another issue that, like, they had in the beginning of the movie, before the parents died, there was this like scene of them testing out M3GAN, then her head explodes, right? And then she gets told to shut it down, pack it up, whatever, blah blah blah. And then when she picks up Katie and they're working on adjusting to each other after the incident, and Katie is learning to live at her house and whatnot, she decides to take back up working on M3GAN and then completes her in like one night. Like, yeah. So I was just like, God damn, like, you wrote the entire program and built her by hand by yourself. Well, actually, there's the other two like co-workers helped too, but it seems like she did it overnight. I don't think that's what actually happened, but it seems like,
yeah, it kind of looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like, because she does. I did see the email where she's like, "Oh, we got to push back product demo or whatever." But like, it just seems like she did it in like one night. Was able to construct this incredible sentient doll overnight, and it seemed like it worked perfectly. So yeah, it just bothered me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. These things, they detract from the story, right? And the story to me was about like, what kind of unintended consequences are there for having a robot take care of your children and whatnot. Like that was part of the story, and that was what I enjoyed, was dissecting like, oh, like what does it take to be a parent and to actually like take care of your kids. I liked a lot of
those underlying messages that came with that. I don't know if those were necessarily like the focus of it.
I don't think they're
really nice things
to
be attached to it.
I don't think they were intended to be the main story. That was what I enjoyed about this story, were those parts of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is about sentient life, fucking
a killer robot.
Yeah, it's Skynet all over again. So, yeah, but that's what I enjoyed, and for that reason, like because there was so much of that, and it like loops back on itself and it came up multiple times, and you got to watch the progression of Katie grow more and more attached to M3GAN, and it manifesting itself in the relationship with Gemma and the therapist, and then also seeing like the corporate world greed around it, right? Like I like that too, because it's very indicative.
Ronnie Chang played his role really well.
I thought he was hilarious.
Asshole. Yeah, he was.
It was great. But it's just very indicative of what like really would happen if somebody created a sentient robot that was a doll for kids. Like that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah, for sure.
They would try to get that shit out and make.
I love that he was like, "All right, lower or higher than a Tesla."
That was funny. Yeah. Would you pay $10,000 for a toy for your kid, like a doll? Like,
bro, that's a car.
Yeah, like
I'd much rather get you a car.
Yeah, what the hell? Like I know that like it's the last toy your kid will ever need, kind of thing, but 10 G's, god damn,
a lot of stuff with that.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, and it ties into the fact that like you're buying the way that they try to market it is that you're buying like a babysitter, and you're buying an emotional, supportive friend and whatnot. But
I mean, I definitely understand the appeal. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't marketing it to me as a toy.
Right.
I would say no.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, hey, do you want this robot that can help you with your life? Sure.
Yeah.
That'd
But
be
then it
great.
turns into iRobot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least iRobot's more
And then
manageable.
we get Will
Terminator's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are a lot of like the major things that I had trouble looking past. And like the final scene was cool, but ultimately a lot of it was predictable to me. The stuff that I enjoyed the most was like the freaky stuff, which was weird. You know, like because normally I don't like scary stuff, but
Yeah.
like the whole dog scene where she rips the dog through the fence.
No, I loved it.
And then her killing the neighbor with the water hose. Like, it's a stretch, but it is technically possible.
Yeah.
But it's a stretch. But yeah, I just, like, that was the stuff that I enjoyed, and I was hoping for more of that. And then when I watched the final, like, sequence of events, she kills the boss. What's his name? The actor. You just said it.
Oh,
actually.
Ronnie Chang.
Ronnie Chang, yeah. She kills him with the letter slicer thingy, kills the assistant, and then she like just leaves the party and then goes back to the house. I wanted like I don't know about you, but I wanted her to go on like a massacre. I wanted her to just mess up the entire building. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be opposed to that, but what happens in the movie makes more sense to me because
yeah, she's focused
she's
on
trying not to cause a big stir,
Right.
because then that leads to her demise.
right.
So she needs as little attention as possible, but
Yeah.
she is trying to make an impact.
I was hoping that she would just take that letter thing and just start slicing people up
Yeah.
going crazy.
But it's definitely not out of the question.
Well, that's where like I feel like a rated R movie would be able to do something like that and just make it a little bit more over the top. Because at that point, I was just like, all right, a lot of these like plot holes are not adding up. I just want to see some nuts shit. Then instead, you know, like that's what I want to see now. And then as far as like the final goes, the only issue I have with the final scene, like the final battle between M3GAN, Gemma,
and
Katie, the only problem I have was the whole Bruce thing. Don't have a problem that Bruce was like involved and whatnot, but the fact that Katie was manning Bruce, it's not believable to me that one, she would just have the gloves in her room for some reason, and they wouldn't be in the workshop where Bruce is, and then two, that like she's capable of using them to that level, and I don't know, it was a little too convenient for me. But outside of that, I enjoyed the final scene. And I liked how it like called back to Gemma explaining to Katie how Bruce worked, because she showed her like the computer, what was behind his brain and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so that, came back into play. But yeah, that was the only thing I didn't like about the final scene. But in the end, I still enjoyed it. It's outside of my normal comfort zone when it comes to movies, so that was cool. But yeah, I would say it's just, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I just went on like a 10-minute monologue.
Yeah,
so
no, it's totally fine.
Now it's your turn to
a
go.
lot of the stuff that you talked about, it makes sense, and like I would agree. In general, this movie, like as I would say, a lot of movies, you have to have some level of suspending your disbelief with certain things. And a lot of things that happen, it's not like they're impossible.
Right.
It's just so hard to do that it's difficult sometimes for us to like be like,
Right.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
and this movie does a lot of that. But I feel like as long as you focus on just the, killer robot thing.
Yeah.
And because, it's a little ridiculous, and don't worry about all the little things. It's not like that big of a deal. It's definitely there. Like you definitely notice it, and it's there, and it's like, okay, like I just kind of have to ignore this.
Right.
I would say this movie, I feel like in the beginning mostly, I feel like they dwell a little bit too much on like Gemma. I mean, I know she's kind of like one of the leads, but like really it feels like you should be focused more on Katie and Megan since they're paired together and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the whole dynamic thing with the family and all that kind of stuff, and like you talked about all the technological issues and stuff that we see in real life, and so that's all great. The fight scene in the end, I loved it. I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, this movie is predictable,
It's very predictable.
and also, like when we did our trailer reaction, it's pretty much exactly what we thought it was. And but to me, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
Like, it's
no.
not a bad thing.
I mean, I did give it a 7. You
Yeah.
know, like
No, I know. I'm just saying
yeah.
in general, like being predictable is not necessarily a bad thing.
right, if you can do it well.
And like the fight scene in the end, it is definitely like ridiculous that Katie
Yeah.
is the one fighting with Bruce, because it would make more sense for Gemma to do it because you know it's her robot, like she made it and designed it and everything. But I just love that moment because it's like, you know, of course it's the final scene. You're like,
Right.
oh, we need this is the moment they come back, and Bruce is just like, just like, yeah, I'm here. And he just beats the hell out of Megan and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
He ends up losing. That's what I actually hated was
Oh, yeah, I know.
he beat
yeah.
Megan so much, and then all of a sudden just gets like basically one hit knocked out
Yeah.
from Megan.
No, that is true. They kind of did this like you had to beat Megan twice thing
Yeah.
at the end, which is a little weird. Where Bruce ripped Megan in half, and we thought that was the end. And then all of a sudden, Megan's upper half was like, no, 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 no. I'm
Yeah.
still alive and still stronger than both of you combined. And then Bruce slips on the bottom half.
Yeah, like he just slips and eats crap, and then that's why he dies. Come on, why you got to do Bruce dirty like
Yeah,
that?
well, Bruce was the best thing about this movie.
He
What
was
the hell?
cool as hell. Like honestly, I'd rather have a kid. I mean, it'd be dangerous equally,
Yeah.
but it'd be fun playing with that. Give me like some Real Steel vibes,
Right? No, yeah, for sure. Or maybe something like Chappie. You ever watch that movie?
Yeah, the Chappie was really good too.
Yeah. Give me some Chappie vibes as well.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on some like there were some things that I thought were going on behind the scenes that didn't come to fruition? Like the fact that that the assistant to the boss was like stealing Megan's files and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they talk about it a little bit when Megan kills him, and she's like, "Oh, this is why you did that." But I thought there's some like corporate espionage going on behind the scenes, and that it was going to come into play later on. But then there was nothing. And that was kind of a bummer for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there definitely, you know, there's some stuff there that they could do. I think they just felt it would have taken you a little bit further from their focus of the movie.
Yeah.
Because it, you know, I like that too. I thought it was cool, and I mean, they finish it up in an okay way.
Are you watching pornography in the office again? No. That was funny. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're probably right. I picked up on it and I was like, oh, that'd be pretty cool if the
Oh yeah, it would.
later on in the
Definitely cool.
movie another company was like, oh, we have a Megan too.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I mean, sequel.
Well, so let's talk about that real quick. I was gonna save it till the end, but let's talk about it real quick because there is some potential, right? Not just because of what we just talked about, that the dude stole the files and maybe he sold them to another company and they're gonna make Megan a version of Megan, but there's also the very last scene of the movie is once they finally defeat Megan and they're walking out of the house because the police and EMS show up.
Actually, yeah, keep going.
Okay. Police and EMS show up, because the partners called the cops because they knew that Megan was going to go to the house and try to kill him, blah, blah, blah. So Gemma and Katie walk out of the house and to get treatment and blah, blah, blah. And then the camera focuses in on Gemma's, like, household robot thing that's like a version of Alexa.
Yeah.
Right? And it turns on and points towards the camera, and so to me it's an insinuation that somehow Megan was like able to upload herself to the cloud, or because she took over that system earlier in the movie during the final battle, that now part of her is linked to that system. So I could definitely see them, Megan being on the cloud, like what was it, from the Avengers. Oh
Um,
my gosh, Ultron.
Ultron.
Yeah. Yeah, Ultron was in the internet. Like, that's where he lived, and they had to purge him from the internet. So I could see them doing something like that as a sequel. I think it would be interesting how they do it and what happens, because to me, that just sounds like Skynet.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I love
Like,
Terminator.
Yeah,
so.
like that just sounds like I'm just about to watch another Terminator movie, but I don't know. Do you think that there's going to be a sequel?
I don't. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly confident I saw an article from the creator that he did say that he was going to make another sequel.
Okay. I think I'd be open to it. The movie was good enough that, you know, if they were to improve on some of the things that were not so good in this movie, that it could be good.
Yeah.
And we haven't really had a killer robot movie in a while.
Yeah.
Like a good
I will
one.
say this movie, it kind of does what they wanted to do with
Yeah.
Chucky.
Yeah. See, I will say that I haven't seen Chucky, the new
Yeah.
Chucky.
So this
So-
kind of does what they were aiming for a little bit better.
Oh, okay. What was the premise of the new Chucky?
It's new version of Chucky. It's electronic and
Oh.
it connects. You use it off an app, and the app connects to all kinds of home connected things. And he just Skynet takes over all of it as they're all killing. Like he uses them as like tools and extensions of himself. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But this is something I forgot, but now that we talked about it, this was one of my major issues with M3GAN as far as power level was throughout the movie. You know, there's little things and it's like, okay, can she really break that, lift that, cut that? That's one thing. But when she walks through the building and she's just like, bloop, alarm off, that's too much for me.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Like her ability to just hack systems and
Yeah, like unless you're some alien or, you know, like Ultron, that's understandable to me because you're just out of this world.
Right.
But if you are an AI that's programmed and is contained within this robot, I understand the ability to do things as a robot.
Right.
But for you to just be like a hand wave and I control everything, that's too much for me.
That's fair. I didn't think of it like that. But I think that is a good point because she does that pretty often. Like she takes over that girl's phone and talks to Gemma through the phone.
Yeah. So
and whatnot. Like
if it was connected like Chucky with an app, that would add a little bit enough to me for to believe that because the app is connected to the, you know, through Wi-Fi or whatever data. That would make a little bit more sense to me in that case. But just to be so powerful as an AI that you can just automatically connect to any electronic, that's a little much for me.
No, I agree. Also, complete and 100% bullshit that nobody showed up because of that alarm. Okay? Because it's a fire alarm, and I happen to know a thing or two about fucking fire alarms going off.
I mean, I feel
as soon as it goes off, we get alerted.
Yeah.
Like literally, as soon as it goes off, we get alerted. And even if it gets turned off, we still have to go and check and make sure that everything is okay and whatnot. But nobody showed up.
Yeah.
So.
But it's good because we didn't get to see firefighters die.
True.
By
I don't want to. I don't want to.
I do want to say too, I loved the aspect with the police officer and the neighborhood. The officer was super funny.
Yeah.
I do want to say though, it is totally bullshit that they were giving Gemma shit for the neighbor's dog.
Yeah.
That dog definitely could have been put down for doing what it did.
It should have been. Like as much as I love dogs and like, and you know, I
don't blame the dog because it's ultimately it's the owners their reason is why their behavior is the way it is because they
100%.
you know allow or reinforce bad habits and stuff like that. But that dog broke her fence and was going onto her property, destroying all of her stuff, and then bit the daughter, and nothing happened. I don't think so.
No. Yeah, dogs have been put down for less for sure, and it's like I just don't understand what the owner expected. Like you don't have your dog on a leash, you don't have it on a runner, it's just in your open front yard, and you just expect it to stay there and just hang out. Like, what do you expect from that dog? Of course, it's gonna go off and
Yeah.
do shit.
So don't do that with your dogs
Yeah.
or other animals.
Yeah, don't let your dogs just run free unless it has proper training, which it obviously didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really sad when that happened, though. I ain't gonna lie. Like that, I enjoyed the suspense of it, but like once I realized that M3GAN killed the dog, I was like, oh, that's sad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sad because the dog died.
Yeah, because the dog. I'm like, oh.
Because, like I said, I don't blame the dog because I know it's not the dog's fault. It's the owner's fault.
Yeah.
But I'm not sad for what happened to the owner because she's kind of a dick for allowing that shit to happen.
Yeah. I don't know that
And
she deserves to die by pressure washer. But
well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's a little extreme, but she definitely needed to be like talked to and stuff, but they were just too nice, I guess, whatever.
yeah. All right, so let's talk about M3GAN herself a little bit and the. So this is something I don't know the answer to. Maybe you can enlighten me, and if you don't, maybe one of you guys can enlighten me. But was M3GAN a combination of CGI and motion capture, or like CGI and a actual person, or was she all CGI? Was she a doll? Like there were definitely points where I could tell that she was a inanimate object.
Yeah.
Like they had an actual doll that looked like her. And then there were other times where it felt like it was a mix of the two. And then there are other times it felt like there was an actual person in a suit. Like this dance scene, I don't know that you could really do that without
No,
it actually
yeah.
being
There's
somebody.
actually 2 actors for
Okay.
M3GAN.
All right. That was my question is how did they go
Yeah,
about
so it is a
creating
mix of scene by scene.
Yeah.
It differentiates, but there's 2 actors that played M3GAN, as in the body of M3GAN. I believe the one that did this was Jenna Davis, was the whole dance thing.
Oh, okay. I don't
And
know who
then
that is. But...
there, I don't know either. But yeah, there's some shots where you can tell it's kind of like a uncanny valley like mix
Right.
of CG with the face, but probably some of that's prosthetics and stuff too.
Right.
So
Yeah, the thing that got me was the eyes, man. The
yeah,
eyes were weird because they looked like human eyes, but the pupils were mechanical, and it was a weird feeling because they show the eyes a lot. Like they show her eyes a lot, and it was interesting. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the movie. It just I don't know when I see like certain things that bug me, it just takes away from it.
yeah.
It's hard
No,
for me to
I
enjoy
totally
it.
understand. Since we're here,
Yeah.
I guess we'll touch on the stuff I wanted to get back
Yeah,
to.
let's do
which
it.
includes this.
Okay.
So this movie, which I would say the biggest thing out of this movie that I was like disappointed about, which we talked about in the beginning, is I felt this movie was restrained, and it felt like it wasn't quite what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I later found out that's exactly what it was.
Oh, really?
Is
A studio.
what happened was they released the trailer for this movie, and the reaction that came from people, which we know in real life were
Yeah.
included with this Fortnite dance thing, exploded. And this
really?
so it became so popular that they shifted things in the movie and changed things. And I'm gonna imagine also changed the rating to drop. Because they wanted to, keep on with the hype and the potential viewer audience that came with all the popularity of this whole dancing stuff came out.
So
I don't mind that it's there, but like when you're watching the movie, like, as even you picked up, it feels like it should have been an R.
yeah.
And originally, I guess it was. So they're actually, when this comes out on streamings and stuff, there's actually going to be an unrated version.
Oh.
Which is like the original cut,
Yeah.
which has, I'm going to assume, way more violence
Yeah.
and blood and all that kind of stuff.
So you're telling me that the dance that she does, the one that Katie teaches her in the little like room, and then she does it again.
To the Ronnie Chang's character.
Yeah, in this hallway. So you're telling me that dance was an original dance, right? Is that what you're saying? And it was because what I thought it was because I know there's all these like TikTok dances and
Yeah,
stuff
there's a
out
lot.
there, and I'm not on TikTok, so I don't like know how it comes about. But I thought what they did is they just took one of those TikTok dances and put it in the movie. But what it sounds like you're saying is they came up with this dance, and then when the trailer came out, a lot of people liked the dance and have been recreating it and putting it in their TikToks and stuff. And because of that, they changed the movie so that they could allow for a wider target audience to come and watch a movie and get more money.
Yeah, the beginning, not the end of that, yes, but the beginning, I don't know what this dance originates from.
Oh, okay.
But TikTok dances almost always become a Fortnite dance, which is, they're both huge,
Right.
huge things in the world. So
Is this a dance in Fortnite?
I have no
Like
idea.
actually? Oh, okay.
I'm probably like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine it not being there because they have everything on there, but just the fact that they had something like that in it
Right.
made it explode for some reason, even though it's so specific and it's not really related to the
Yeah, it wasn't even that big
main
of the
thing of the movie.
Yeah.
It's just a super small thing, but that it was enough, I guess, for people to just like, oh wow, look at this, and then they're like, that's the reason, I guess, why maybe some people watch the movie, because they just thought maybe there's more of this or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
But I don't blame them for capitalizing on that.
Right.
But I'm at least glad that even though they did that, they are going to release the original version of the movie,
Yeah.
which is probably something that we might like a little bit more.
Yeah, I can't blame them for capitalizing, but at the same time, it definitely hurts the movie, and it's a little bit of a you just care about money.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody
Yeah,
cares about
everybody.
money. So,
You're right.
but yeah, I like I said, I think it would be better as its original version, but at least we're gonna see it eventually.
Well, maybe when they do release it on streaming and they release that unrated version, maybe we'll
Come
watch
back.
that and we'll revisit and do a comparison video.
Yeah,
Talk
that'd be cool.
about the
I'd be down for that.
differences and whether or not we like the unrated or this version better. So if that's something you guys would like to see, let us know down in the comments below if you'd like to see us do a comparison video. Any other issues that you had with the movie?
No, I think that's about it.
No.
Yeah.
Anything like that pops out of you that you really liked?
I mean, I just think the performance that the character M3GAN ends up doing was actually really good.
Mm.
Like, I enjoyed all the combination of
Yeah.
CG and all this like uncanny stuff, and then the whole technology thing, even the toy aspect of like her company and like her Gemma's job and stuff. There's a lot of little things in that I enjoy seeing just because I know it is a real thing when it
Right.
comes to designing that kind of
Right.
stuff. So it was cool to see it again on screen.
I just thought it was funny that the name of the toy company is Funky, and these are Funkos,
Funko.
which is obviously a play off of that. And then a really funny part is when the boss guy was like, "We're gonna punch Hasbro in the dick so hard."
You wish, buddy.
Yeah, no way.
Good luck. Hasbro
way bigger
is
than you think, but-
huge.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us on this episode of Our Take. This movie was one of those that was good, but it definitely had a lot more potential. So, like we said, if you guys would like to see a comparison video of the unrated version of this movie to the one that was released in theaters, let us know. We will gladly do that for you guys when it comes out. I have no idea when that'll be, but let us know if that's something you guys would like to see. So that concludes our episode for today. If there's anything else that you guys would like us to review, we're kind of in a lull right now with content because of the beginning of every calendar year is pretty slow for movies and TV shows. So there's not a whole lot for us to do right now. We're thinking about doing a throwback. Remember how we were talking about we want to do some old movies,
old
classic movies and do some reviews on those. But let us know if you guys have any ideas of anything that you guys would like us to review so that we can continue to pump out this content for you guys.
As far as some new things that you guys should probably look out for with us doing is The Bad Batch.
Yes,
season
that will
2
be coming soon.
And The Last of Us, which streams tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it does come out tomorrow. Yeah, not so much of a lull now that I think about it, but do look out for those episodes and let us know if there's anything else you guys would like to see. Thanks for being here. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check out our social media links down in the description below, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye, guys.